guys are listening again, Adav Shalom. We have to learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, where did he start? He was a prince. He was the adopted son of Batya, daughter of Pharaoh. He sat in the king's lap. He had all the luxuries in the world. And what does a kid do in his situation, growing up in the, like a prince of Egypt? You'd go, maybe learn to drive, get a nice car, get in an accident, do the spoiled kid stuff. And what does he do? Every day he goes out and he sees besivlotam, and he observes the burdens of the Jewish people. So what? The main concern of Moshe Rabbeinu in his prime youth, of his good times, is what's going to happen to his brothers, the Jewish people. And he could have gone and lived in his mansion, go and enjoy his life, and he chose to go out and feel sorry for them. He used to see a person carrying too heavy of a load, he could go and help him. He would see a guy bleeding, and they forced him, whipping him, to force him to work. He would go and tend to his wounds. He would go out of his way to go and make sure everybody's okay. And that's really what the Torah commands us. The Torah commands us to go and endure the burden of our fellow, to support the burden of our fellow. Noseh be'ol chavero. Shulchan Aruch says, what's the mitzvah of, and what's the purpose of bikur cholim, visiting the sick? Shulchan Aruch says it's to see their suffering and to pray for them. The Gemara says if you're a Talmid Chacham and you visit a sick person, the Gemara says he should make himself sick praying over this guy. He should become nervous and he should pray to Hashem as if he himself was sick. That's how a person should be praying for the other person. So you see that a Jew means I have to care about another person. It's not, I'm religious, I'm wealthy, I'm happy, I live my life, drive off into the sunset. No, you have a whole team, you have a whole family you have to take care of, and you have to go and be concerned for them. Yeah, but they're annoying, and there's so many of them, and they're so different, and I don't want to go out of my way. No, we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu that even if you have a perfect life and you have a prince life, you have to go and make sure to take care of the other Jews. And look, he put his whole life on the line. He went and he got involved with that altercation between the Egyptian slave master and the Jew, and he ended up having to kill the Egyptian slave master. He had to run away from his own country. He had to go, and he was going to get sentenced to death if he was going to be in court. He ran away all the way to Midian. He started off his life again somewhere else, exiled himself. Look how out of his way he went, because Moshe Rabbeinu really cared, and that's what we have to learn from him. And we see that even when it comes to Moshe Rabbeinu in the burning bush, when Hashem speaks to him, he was caring for every sheep in the flock. One sheep ran away. He didn't want to leave it behind. He went. Why was he traveling so far from Midian? It's because they didn't want to go, and the Midrash says he didn't want to go and eat from people's fields and steal Chas v'Shalom. So he used to take them into the wilderness in order to be able to pasture. Then he went, ran away, he saw the burning bush. Hashem tells him, you're going to be the person who takes the Jewish people out of Israel, and out of Mitzrayim to Israel. And what? He said no. Hashem says, you're going to do it. And he said no. And Hashem says, you're going to do it. He said no. Hashem had to get angry with him. Don't tell me no anymore. You're going to do it. And that's when he accepted. Moshe Rabbeinu, the number one person who cares about the Jewish people, they were suffering. They were dying. Their kids were put into bricks if they didn't make quota. The horrible things. You would think genocide. You would think the Holocaust. Hashem comes to you and tells you, I give you the tools now to save the Jewish people from the Holocaust. I give you the tools now to save the Jewish people from Egypt. And you tell me no? What was Moshe Rabbeinu thinking? I would say in a second, of course, let's go. How do I start this? How do I save the Jewish people? Why does Moshe Rabbeinu say no? The commentaries say, because he was concerned about one person. Who was that? Aaron. He says, I could save the entire Jewish people, but one person should be hurt. It's not worth it for me. How could it be that's the right thing to do? How could it be that to save the Jewish people, which is the best thing in the world, it has to come through the hands of hurting my brother Aaron, who's older than me, and he probably thinks he's less than me. He's probably a little bit jealous, and the whole time he's going to keep this in his heart. I don't want to do it. Hashem had to force him and say, no, Moshe Rabbeinu, you're mistaken. He's not jealous. He's very happy for you. Do it. He had to get angry with Moshe, and Moshe accepted it. So you see, Moshe Rabbeinu, even if it means doing the best thing or having the best, having everything work out, I can't sit and sleep at night if I know somebody else, I hurt somebody, that somebody else is not okay with it, that somebody else has something in their heart. That's how we have to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. Even if it means saving the entire Jewish people, we know that Mordechai cried a great cry. Why did he cry a great cry? This, that Yaakov made Esau cry a great cry. Even though he took the Bechorah, his mother told him, Nevoah, you're going to take the Bechorah. He made Esau cry. Just even for that, to make someone upset, to make someone cry, we have to pay for that. So therefore, Mordechai also cried a great cry. Connected them. But the point is that we have to learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. You have a beautiful house. Tfadal. B'chavod. You have a nice car. B'chavod. you have your kids in yeshiva, have religious, you're happy, you're wealthy, you're making your life. Ashrecha, good for you. We're very happy for you as long as you're doing the mitzvot and you're a righteous person. But being a righteous, a religious person means that once you finish yourself, that doesn't mean, oh, that's it, I'm done now. I retire and I only care about myself. No, now you have to become a man of the klal. Now you have to become a person where how do I help the community? How do I make it better? What are we missing in our community? Do our kids have a place to go after school and do after school programs? Are there kids roaming in the street? Do the ladies in our community learn? Do they have enough rebbitzins? Is there a seminary for people who don't have to go to Israel? Is there a seminary for them to go here so they don't have to go far away? Do we have enough kosher, halls? Do we have enough kosher groceries? Do we have judekas? If we're missing all these things, let's go build it. Let's go make it. Let's put heads together. Let's move money together. Let's give tzedakah together. You have to make noise. You have to make organizations. There are people who have cancer, people who need livers, people who need organs, people who need, help for Shabbat. We need people who don't have people from divorce homes, people who need shalom bayit. They have no one to speak to. There's so many things you could be involved with, and there's not enough manpower to do it. The rabbis. No. Every single Jew, not just the rabbis, every single Jew has to have in part of his psyche the nosebo chavero. Even though everything's good in my life, as long as the Jewish people are suffering, that's my problem also. Problem is, we think it's not my problem, it's their problem. And that's where the Geulah gets stuck. The redemption comes when everybody's problem is my problem also. Nosebo chavero, and then what? And Hashem says, now they're really together. What does it mean together? We're together. What's a husband and wife? Through the thick or the thin, through the good and the bad. Oh, only when it's good and we have a party we get together. When it's bad times, oh, you're calling me. Leave me alone. I don't want to hear your problems. I can't help you. Go find somebody else. No. When the Jewish people really show together is when it's good, especially when it's bad. We should be zocher to be able to carry the burden of our friend. Baruch Adonai Olam.